he did all this stuff. This is not a good that paints a picture of an ugly scene. And so if someone said that about me, I would feel probably the need to defend myself. I didn't touch you. What are you talking about? You're trying to assassinate my character or something. And so that's why I was curious what your take on it was.
Well,
there was nothing that made me happier than throwing that guy over to the PFL.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, if we let guys go, feel bad for the company that gets them. We let them go for a reason.
Yeah.
Some serious tension has been building between Dana White and Francis Ngannou lately. And trust me, this conflict between them is completely genuine and shows no signs of cooling down anytime soon. The animosity between Dana and Francis isn't exactly a secret. Anyone following MMA knows we're dealing with a major feud that just exploded back into public view after Dana White dropped this bombshell where he directly accused Francis of getting physical with him following the Stipe Miocic bout. As if that wasn't dramatic enough, fresh speculation keeps circulating that Francis could actually make his way back to the UFC, and that has everybody buzzing. Francis Ngannou revealed that his PFL deal wraps up right before the UFC White House event happens, which creates some fascinating timing when you really consider it. He's been openly expressing genuine enthusiasm about potentially facing Jon Jones, and honestly, that would be an incredible matchup if it ever comes together.
I'm getting very close with on the PFL contract, so they have to give me a fight.
Okay, when you say close, what do you mean by that? Close to the end?
Yep.
Okay. When is that?
Soon.
You talked about wanting to fight Jon Jones at the White House.
Yeah, I mean, yes, if that could have happened.
Right. Would your PFL contract end before that event happens so that it would work out to where you could explore that?
Yes.
Oh my dear. This is interesting stuff, Francis. But he might not get that fight. It seems like they're mad at him. Because now he wants to fight on the White House card, but Dana White said he doesn't trust him to be on the White House card, so he's not going to put him on there.
I don't know. I think the White House card is the fight away. A lot of things can happen.
I think what's interesting is...
Now, here's the thing, though. You might think freedom is within reach. But Dana White is being brutally honest about having absolutely no desire to welcome Francis Ngannou back into the UFC family. Actually, Dana went so far as to describe letting Francis go to the PFL as the most satisfying decision of his entire professional life. And that's saying something considering his track record. He broke down his logic, stating that when someone simply doesn't mesh well, whether on a personal level or business level, parting ways actually helps everyone involved move forward. Dana threw in this revealing comment about how he genuinely prefers avoiding business relationships with people he considers morally questionable, which really shows you his current opinion of Francis. Obviously, from Dana's standpoint, this relationship isn't just damaged, it's utterly destroyed, and he appears completely comfortable with that reality.
I do wonder how PFL feel about him going out and saying that his contract's nearly done.
There was nothing that made me happier than throwing that guy over to the PFL.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, if we let guys go, feel bad for the company that gets them. We let them go for a reason.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't have to let anybody go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be in business with guys that I don't like and that I don't think are good guys. And when you talk about good guys and bad guys, I'm in the fight business. Mm-hmm. Shit happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty lenient when it comes to tough guys. Mm-hmm. I'm not lenient with bad guys.
Dana White recently absolutely unloaded on Francis Ngannou in a way that was impossible to miss, directly labeling him selfish and claiming he only thinks about himself while ignoring everyone around him. Those are some heavy accusations right there. Dana also shared this bombshell, where he admitted he actually wanted to release Francis much sooner than he actually did, but he demonstrated restraint and offered him several opportunities to turn things around. Even with all that extra time, though, Dana claims Francis simply refused or couldn't manage to fix his attitude, which eventually caused their entire relationship to crumble. Obviously, Dana believes he bent over backward trying to make things work with Francis. And in his mind, Francis completely wasted every single chance he was given.
I guess the one I will tell you is, everybody has this thing about Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He plays the whole, duh, 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 I don't understand the language, and he tries to come off like he's a nice guy, you know what I mean? And people go, oh, it's the language barrier probably. No, there's no language barrier with this guy. He's a bad guy. And I told my guys, I wanted to cut him early. And two of my matchmaker guys were like, oh, no, you don't understand. I said, guys, let me tell you a story. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Dana White shared this particular incident with Francis Ngannou that went down right before his bout with Stipe Miocic. And honestly, the specifics are pretty crazy once you get the whole picture. Apparently, Francis walked up to Dana immediately after their press conference ended, and this is where things get really interesting. He flat out asked Dana to arrange a private jet to Paris once his fight concluded. Just casually requested a private aircraft like it was some routine favor. Dana's reaction was to chuckle, most likely assuming Francis was either kidding around or being overly presumptuous. But here's what makes this story wild. Once Stipe dominated that fight and crushed Francis completely, that entire private plane conversation just vanished into thin air. The demand evaporated right along with Francis's championship dreams, and Dana obviously recalls this exchange as perfect evidence of Francis's entitlement and unrealistic expectations.
So he's going in to fight Stipe Miocic in Boston, and he knows he's going to kill Stipe, right? So after the press conference, we're walking down this hallway, and he comes over to me and he grabs me, and he says, "Let me tell you what's going to happen." His English is great, okay? No language barrier whatsoever. When this fight's over, they're going to book me a private plane to Paris. And I said, I laughed and said, oh yeah. He goes, I'm not joking. You're going to book me a private plane to Paris. So, okay. So we go our own ways. Stipe Miocic beats the out of him. So that ended that whole conversation.
This is definitely where everything becomes extremely controversial, since Dana White is actually alleging that Francis physically grabbed his shirt while they were in his private office, which would obviously cross a major line if it really happened. Based on Dana's account of what went down, Francis Ngannou stormed into Dana's office after losing to Stipe Miocic, and he was furious, absolutely livid, particularly about missing out on a $150,000 performance bonus that he clearly thought he had earned. When Dana began walking toward the door, likely attempting to wrap up what had turned into a very tense discussion, Francis supposedly grabbed his shirt and forcibly shoved him back into the office space. Dana claims his response was swift and decisive. He warned Francis in very clear language to remove his hands immediately and back off. This is definitely a major accusation because physically confronting the UFC president in a threatening manner would be completely unacceptable in any professional environment.
And he had just fought, and he comes up to my office, and he's in the hallway or whatever hanging out, and I said, come on in, what's going on? And he was pissed off that he didn't get a $50,000 bonus in his last fight, that he didn't get the bonus of the night. And I said, well, Francis, you didn't get it because this, that. And he's in my office and he's arguing with me, and I'm like, yeah, this guy got this guy got that, and this is why. The conversation's over. I'm starting to leave, and he grabs me by my shirt and like pushes me back in my office. And I said, dude, get your hands off me.
Francis Ngannou made it perfectly obvious that he refuses to waste valuable time or mental energy, responding to Dana White's public claims about him getting physical during that alleged office confrontation. Francis's comeback was pretty straightforward and direct. He essentially challenged Dana by saying, if you want to make these accusations, then back them up by releasing the security footage. Since Francis insists there had to be several cameras recording everything in that location where this supposed incident took place. If Dana's version is accurate, then video proof should definitely exist, shouldn't it? Francis mentioned that he's genuinely saddened by how their relationship has deteriorated, and you can sense in his voice that he feels more disappointed than angry about everything. He's not trying to battle every single accusation that gets thrown his way. He simply wants the real facts to surface, whatever those facts happen to be.
Did you ever put your hands on him?
On Dana White?
Yeah.
Well, then he must be the only person that I ever put my hand on.
Well, he said he said you did it with him and Hunter Campbell, where you grabbed his collar.
In his office, that's what he said, right?
Correct.
Well, I'm sure he has a lot of camera there.
So you would invite him to, hey, show the proof?
I'm not inviting him to do anything.
Francis Ngannou explained his entire approach to this messy situation, stating he doesn't feel obligated to constantly defend his reputation or answer every single public statement Dana White makes about him in interviews. He clarified that eventually, in life, you have to learn to tune out what others are saying about you and stop feeling this endless pressure to explain yourself or your behavior to everybody. If the comments being made are respectful and non-hostile, then Francis believes that's perfectly acceptable and he has zero issues with it. But he's decided that he won't structure his entire life around debating every criticism or engaging in endless back and forth arguments over incidents that might not have even occurred. It's obvious Francis is attempting to stay above the drama and avoid getting sucked into constant negativity.
Whatever he said, if he's in peace with, it's okay.
But one might say that he's trying to like hurt your character, right? These aren't nice things to say about someone, if not true. If not true.
Again, why am I not surprised?
Right. So you don't want to address any of it.
No, I don't find it. I don't find it important in it. I don't find it necessary. At some point, he was, but over time, he's not anymore.
Meanwhile, in a surprising development, Dana White has actually returned and provided clarification on his previous comments about Francis Ngannou. And honestly, this clarification really shifts the narrative quite significantly. He's now explaining that Ngannou never actually became physical with him in the threatening way people probably interpreted from his initial statements. Dana stressed that there wasn't any physical altercation in terms of an actual fight or genuine aggression. And he's walking back the earlier impression that some people developed that Ngannou had grabbed or shoved him in a menacing fashion. Dana White explained, and these are his exact words, "Let me be clear on something. When I say the physicality, it's not like Francis came in here and threatened us or anything like that. We're in there, and he's telling me that he deserves the $50K bonus. I said, you're not getting it. We had already determined who was going to get and I'm in there with him for however long, and I'm like, I'm done. I have another meeting to get to. And this guy, Francis, used to walk around the UFC headquarters like it was his own house. He literally spent the whole day here, breakfast, lunch, dinner, just hanging around. So I started to walk out of the office, and he put his hand on my chest and he said, we're not done talking. And I said, oh yes, we are. We're definitely done talking. It's not like Francis came in here and was physical in a threatening way, but that's what went down between us. Francis Ngannou shared his frustration about how everything played out with Dana White, reflecting on how their professional relationship went from good to terrible from what it used to be. He wondered why things had to deteriorate like this, why problems couldn't have been handled more professionally, expressing that he was simply let down by the final outcome in the toxic direction their interactions eventually reached.
Again, why am I not surprised?
Right. So you don't want to address any of it.
No, I don't find it. I don't find it important in it. I don't find it necessary. At some point, he was, but over time, he's not anymore. I have less energy for drama, for stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to be in peace and people leave me alone. That's all.
Do you think at some point you will be able to be left alone when it comes to Dana White, maybe even have a good relationship? Is this something that you would like? A handshake, hello, how are you? A cordial relationship?
Switching gears completely, Alexander Volkanovski has dismissed all those retirement speculations that keep circulating, and he's stating clearly he's prepared to add more elite victories to his record before he even considers stepping away from competition. Alexander Volkanovski is stating definitively that he is definitely not thinking about retirement at this stage of his fighting career. And he's actually planning ahead for potential battles with Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev, two incredibly skilled challengers. He sees both of these matchups as legitimate tests that would really push his abilities and he truly believes that those victories would contribute significant weight to his legacy in MMA. He's not seeking easy opponents or warm-up fights. He wants legitimate competition that will solidify his position in featherweight history.
Will this be your last time in the octagon?
Yeah, I'm seeing that everywhere as well. I don't know where that come from. No, it's not. It hasn't been planned to be my last fight, so you don't need to really worry about that. I think you're going to just take it as it goes from here on, but there's definitely no plans of that. My plans are going out there and, as I told you, not taking too much damage, going out there, really setting a statement, and make it, be really impressive in there, and then maybe get a quick turnaround. I think you've got a couple of other guys as well, like Movsar, Lerone Murphy. They're undefeated and all that, so they're, for the legacy, they look like they might be pretty good as well. So we'll see what happens. This one, do this in Sydney, put on a show, but again, definitely no plans for that.
Alexander Volkanovski also discussed feeling truly sorry for Movsar Evloev losing his title opportunity, and you could sense his sincerity. He recalls pushing for Movsar right after his own bout, thinking that Evloev had genuinely earned the opportunity to challenge for the belt based on his skills and his impressive run. But when Evloev had to withdraw due to situations he couldn't control, that perfect chance just slipped away completely. Volkanovski has genuine respect for Movsar and thinks he truly deserved that championship opportunity, so watching him lose out was disappointing.
Or Murphy?
Well, I called for Movsar straight after the fight. Then I knew he was going to be fighting. Then he pulled out. I knew he was meant to maybe postpone, and then he didn't take it. And I'm like, well, there goes your opportunity. So that wasn't long before I knew that wouldn't happen. That's the thing, man. I feel for him in a sense where I know he definitely deserved. That's why I called for him. But I totally understand how this game works. You can't be that guy. You got to be the guy that's willing to fight anyone, anywhere. Put your hand up.
Alexander Volkanovski explained the dynamics with Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy, mentioning that whether these two actually fight each other or take different opponents in the near future will really influence the schedule for when he meets them. But he wants to be completely transparent about one thing. He absolutely plans to battle both of them eventually, no matter how everything unfolds. He's promising both fighters that they won't miss their shot to face him. That opportunity is still definitely available. However, Volkanovski also noted that he thinks delaying too long isn't beneficial for anyone involved, since timing is crucial in this business, and staying inactive too long can really damage a fighter's momentum and career progress.
Lerone did do that. Lerone Murphy fought a guy at short notice in Pico and got a massive finish. So I thought it was going to be him in December. Then I knew the UFC were waiting for John Silver and Diego. So I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be one of these guys. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this is going to be a fun fight. And it was. And that's where they went with it. But it don't matter. We'll see what happens, whether Movsar and Lerone fight somebody or each other, prove themselves, and then I'll fight them straight after. So don't worry, they won't miss their opportunity. If they back themselves, take on another fight then, or wait, whatever. But I mean, I don't think waiting's a good idea. As I said, take your opportunities just like Lopez did, and then this is where you'll be.
Diego Lopez also weighed in on this entire scenario, acknowledging directly that both Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy have completely earned their championship opportunities through their performances and impressive streaks. He wants everyone to see the situation clearly from where he stands. Lopez emphasized that he already delivered a really powerful message with his second-round knockout win, and he secured his spot in the title picture exactly how anyone else would have, by winning spectacularly. He asked this really logical question that's tough to dispute. If the UFC offered me a championship fight, why would I possibly turn it down? That simply doesn't make any sense for any competitor who's focused on advancing their career. With another title fight opportunity coming up in Australia, Diego says he's truly excited and prepared to capitalize completely on this chance that's been given to him.
The people need to understand one thing. Before my last fight, I tell man times the interview, because the people ask me, oh, you think if you won this fight, you are next for the title? Or you think he moves out, let him off deserve the fight for the title? No, I tell for in man's interviews, like, okay, look guys, moves out deserve for the title, of course. Let him off, two guys undefeated, both guys deserve for the title. But I have one great fight in my front now. I'm take a great win. I put my name again on the table for fight the title, no? Yeah, I think I do this, no? I do a great knockout in the second round. Put my name again on the table. UFC send me the chance. I'm take the fight. No, now I'm so excited. I'm so excited because this is my second shot for the title in Australia. I'm so excited for this.
At the same time, Volkanovski has stated that he anticipates the Diego Lopez rematch to be fairly simple from where he sits, and he completely intends to demonstrate that Lopez has not really improved the skill gap between them, despite what some observers might believe. Volkanovski thinks that if he follows the correct strategy and performs at his best, he can make the bout appear effortless, almost like a clinic in featherweight mastery. He believes he's about to deliver a really powerful message in this contest, one that might actually leave Lopez wondering where he truly belongs in the rankings afterward. He even pictures telling Diego post-fight not to feel too discouraged, because Lopez might enter that cage believing he's evolved tremendously and narrowed the distance, only to watch the outcome go against him again and understand the gap remains significant. Volkanovski is extremely confident that this showing will clearly demonstrate the difference between his current level as a competitor and where Diego presently stands in his growth.
And no disrespect to Lopez, make this look easy.
Okay.
I think I can go out there and just fight the right fight, and show him that, he's going to think he's leveled up. I'm going to show him that that's not the case.
Okay.
And I'm going to show him that, you fought a great fight the first time. And this time he's, maybe after we'll chat to him, because I believe I really am going to set a statement. I don't know where his head's going to be at after this one. I'll just let him know. It goes, hey, mate, that's a game. Don't take it too hard. Like, obviously, he's going to be like, I thought I'm improving now. This happened. I don't know why I care about how I'm already thinking, but that's honestly how I feel like it's going to be. I think.
Volkanovski even stated, and these are his words, "I'm going to go out there and really set a statement that people can't ignore." Additionally, Alexander Volkanovski has this intense motivation to demonstrate that he remains the exact same world-class fighter at the peak of the featherweight rankings, despite all the brutal wars he's endured. He acknowledges directly that he's aging now and not precisely the same physical force he was several years back during his absolute peak. That's simply the truth of getting older in fighting, but here's his perspective. He still truly believes he is miles ahead of everyone else in terms of technique, experience, and mental approach. He plans to make that crystal clear in February, especially with his home audience in Australia supporting him and providing that additional boost and inspiration. Volkanovski is very specific that he does not want a repeat of the punishment he absorbed in his previous fight or another battle that keeps everyone wondering what might happen next, even though he recognizes that can occur at any second in this sport, because it's combat. His objective this time is to deliver a smooth, controlling performance and send a message that leaves zero questions about his position in the weight class.
I am still that guy. I'm still the best, and I still am a type of guy that can be untouchable out there. I am older.
Yeah.
Am I the same guy as I was 2-3 years ago? No, but am I still that much better than these guys? I believe so, and I plan on proving that February 1st. Home crowd in front of everyone. Everyone's going to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take damage like last time.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Alexander Volkanovski stays completely concentrated on his main objective of capturing titles in 2 divisions, and he's actively pursuing rematches against Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria to resolve some outstanding issues. He admits with total transparency that he cannot expect a champion versus champion bout right away. That's simply not realistic, given how this sport operates, after certain outcomes. But he outlines his strategy, explaining that once he beats Diego Lopez convincingly and potentially defeats another unbeaten contender following that, it would be completely logical at that stage to campaign for those massive championship bouts that fans are dying to witness. He's thinking tactically about rebuilding his argument to secure those enormous fights.
Well, I'd love to rematch, and get them wins back on like Islam Makhachev or Ilia Topuria, but I'm pretty real with it. I understand that, I can't just call for a champ fight right now. I know I've got work to do in my division. Being a champion is a responsibility, and I take that serious. I know I've got guys in my division, and I don't want to hold up the division. So I want to do what I need to do, and then you never know. Maybe after what I said I'm planning on doing in Sydney, Feb 1st, go do that, and then maybe have the turnaround, and then get another victory over undefeated guy. Maybe that's, I think that's fair enough to be calling for maybe a champ.
The featherweight champion also presented this really compelling point that elite-level contests like his match with Islam Makhachev and even battles like Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan really demonstrate what MMA's true technical excellence looks like when you have two world-class athletes competing. He admits that discussions about when officials should separate fighters during those extended grappling sequences always be complex and somewhat divisive because every referee manages those situations differently based on their judgment, and the choices they make seldom please everyone watching. He referenced the Yan versus Merab contest as absolute evidence that even with continuous wrestling throughout the bout, a fight can still be completely action-packed and display everything magnificent that this sport represents. By comparison, some matches become endless, striking battles, while others, including his own encounter with Islam, feature serious damage being inflicted with a kind of technical precision and elite-level grappling that knowledgeable fans who truly understand this sport can genuinely recognize. And
it's just how it is. It is a big part of the sport. But I mean, it just needs to be managed the right way. I think it's up to the ref and how they want to ref it. A lot of people, again, there's always going to be someone that's unhappy. But let's look at Peter Yan and Merab. There was a lot of wrestling, and how much that was a fun fight. It had everything.
Unbelievable.
Some of the best fights in the UFC. You get the ones that they're just scrapping. They're just going at it. But then you have some like that fight, like myself and Islam. There's some. The real mixed martial arts, a lot of damage was done, a lot of the transition. If you are seeing real skill involved, people are going to appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So that's all that really matters.
So that covers everything from today's breakdown, exploring all this conflict and developments, and hopefully you've really had fun examining all these storylines with us. Please drop your opinions in the comments below because we absolutely love reading what you think about all this Francis and Dana controversy, and whether you believe Volkanovski can deliver that statement he's promising. And definitely remember to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet for more compelling MMA content covering all the newest updates, conflicts, and fight analysis in the universe of mixed martial arts.